Whew. All right. I don't know why I'm so cold. Just feel like the temperature dropping. Mm, okay. Mm. Whew. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing that. Yeah, I gotta shake that lid. Mm. Okay. What are you doing, phone? God, you're doing a whole lot. All right. Hey, Yana. Hey, KER Vixen. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Patty Duke. Hey to the now. There's so much going on my phone right now. Did that, did that. Hey, Shauna White. Hey, everybody. I just got a text and I am, yeah. What the hell? All right. Uh, what is going on, y'all? Let's talk about some stuff. I'm not gonna keep y'all waiting. Um, and I'm not gonna keep y'all waiting and stuff like that. And um, anyway, um, we had an inauguration today. Hey, Miss D, we had an inauguration today. We had a 46th president was inaugurated and took the oath of office into these yet to be United States of America. And we had all of that happen, and we're here to talk about it, talk about some stuff, talk about everything, and then we'll get off and let y'all go back about y'all evening. Anyway, I know a lot of y'all are enthralled. People are probably over there enthralled into the mess that is. I think isn't Chasing Atlanta or something premiering tonight? I don't know. I don't care. We'll see that mess when we see it. Hey, Nappy Child. Now let's start there, Patty Duke. Let's start there from the beginning of the day. And early in the day, us watching um 45 exit, and he went to Joint Base Andrews, formerly known as Andrews Air Force Base, and oh, Lord, y'all, I'm sorry, y'all. Don't you hate when you be in group chats and at the most inopportune time, these people want to be going in? I don't have that kind of time. Mute them. Anyway, he went to Joint Base Andrews where he probably had expectation of having a whole slew of people watching, coming to cheer him on as he, paraded out of the executive office of these yet to be United States of America. And basically, it was just his family. Now, I will say this: the speech that he gave did not go the way that I expected. It was kind of conciliatory. It was he still did not mention Joe Biden, still did not mention the fact that Joe Biden is the next president, is well now the current president, but at that time would be the next president of the country. But it was less abrasive. Donald Trump can be abrasive. And from what I understand, he did not there was supposed to be the presidential teleprompters and so forth that were supposed to be there. He did not use them. He went off the cuff. And I was very surprised that it was less abrasive and less it wasn't the normal Trump that we've seen for 4 years. Um like I said, and it might have been because the crowd wasn't what he expected. Because I would venture to guess, had the crowd been what he had expected, he probably would have gave him everything that he normally gives. But since there was nobody there, it didn't happen. He got on Air Force One, wheels up. See you later. Thank you for coming. Please fly safely. And he was out of there. Um, it didn't. Let me say this overall: him not being there, it just made sense. Hey, Mr. Fit Brown dude. It just made sense because it was out of the ordinary. Hey, Jason. Yes. And I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I did see it. I did because I've been on the phone all evening. But I haven't got a chance to read it yet, but I did get your email. Hey, Sims overdose. What's going on? But I mean, the inauguration this year is different anyway because we got a whole pandemic going on, so you couldn't have the crowds. You're not having the traditional inaugural balls. You didn't have the traditional inaugural luncheon that you have right after he takes the oath of office and stuff like that. You didn't have a whole lot of that stuff. So a lot of it was out of the ordinary. So him not being there, doing what he did, it just fit. All right, so let's get to the inauguration itself. Listen, if you really want to make an entrance, Sims overdose, what you do is you come in crotch first, slanging and banging into the room. Y'all know I'm a whole mess over here. Don't get me started. Um, you got to first of all, can I talk about how I'm gonna talk about my disappointment first. I was very disappointed in right, Jason, right. I was very disappointed in Kamala and in Kamala's dress and what she had on. Oh, somebody, hey, lady. Okay. Only because this is a moment. This is a historic moment. They know that in places like what you wear at this ceremony, goes in places like the Smithsonian and museums and stuff like that. And so there's whole people are vying to be able to dress a historic figure, and stuff like that. And I'm sure there was a team of people involved. It was very I looked at Kamala when she got out of that limousine this morning, and I was like, okay. Like, you hear the stories about all of the first ladies, how they go through a whole vetting process of figuring out who they're going to wear on that day. Michelle Obama tells the story about how she picked the famous dress that she wore back in 2009. It was the sleeves were too long for me when she was wearing it. It
But you
just
know what I found out? What's
wow.
interesting is it's the same designer that Michelle Obama had. So it's the same designer. It just, I guess,
It
what
fell
she
flat.
found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it fell flat this time. Um, we're gonna get that. Listen, um, we're gonna get. Oh, Nappy Child, don't rush me, Nappy Child. Let me get through this. Me here, God. So that was my first, and that was really my only. Well, my other disappointment was Yo Girl J Lo. First of all, I'm not a J Lo fan at all by any stretch of the
Why she gotta be
imagination.
my girl? Why?
Not Yo Girl, but Yo Girl. Somebody in the chat, it might be their girl. But I didn't like her. There's so many, and I heard you talking about checking the Hispanic or Latina box. There's so many other people that he could have chosen besides J Lo, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
Oh, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying he
Yeah,
just the
but
box.
yeah. Um, Listen, let's talk about the former presidents. You had the Clintons came out, loved Hillary with the longer hair,
I like
Bill
her with longer
looking
hair.
like Bill. Um Bill looking like Bill, you know what I'm saying? They came out there looked good. The Bushes came out there. I liked Laura. Laura looked good. Laura Bush looked good today. Do you hear me? But please understand. Please make no bones about it. When the Obamas stepped on stage, they shut it down. Shut it down. Baby Michelle came in that wine colored pants suit because she was like, girl, I ain't got to wear no skirt for y'all. Girl, I'm coming out here in pants with my boots on. See me. Sickening. Michelle, that hair, every time she took a step, the way the curls bounced on her shoulder, baby Michelle Obama was sickening today. And let me tell you something. That jacket Barack had on, if I could steal it off him right now, I would. Baby, that jacket Barack Obama had, oh, I know that jacket cost at least 4 or 5 figures. That jacket Barack had on, I was like, now you did that over. Normally you don't expect the man for the people to be talking about what the man had on. Hey Tabitha, did you send her the link? Because I didn't know if she wanted to come on and chat with us.
I didn't. If you want to come on, though, I can send it to you, though, Tabitha. If
Yeah,
you want.
in my email to you, I said, please send this to her.
I didn't do all that. Reading. I did. I just saw the link and clicked the link. I didn't.
Blame her, Tabitha. Blame her, my love. Um, can I post the pictures? Oh, do I have pictures? Oh dear God. I'll see. I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for that. Um.
Tabitha said, no, it's been a long day. She just wants to enjoy.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
I wanted to give you the opportunity. Okay, so Michelle Obama and Barack, sickening, stunning. Michelle Obama was the best dressed woman there today. There was not a woman
I
on that
mean, hands
stage.
down, hands.
There was not a woman on that stage that looked better than.
It
Well, I
was
think
not one.
a close second might be Lady Gaga because I lived for Lady Gaga today.
I wasn't.
Lived.
Nah,
I lived for it.
nah,
Lived for it.
nah.
Um. Um. That was the fashions they all did. People that, but I did not like Kamala. Jill Biden looked good in the
I
Aqua
know
or
now
turquoise.
outside of Michelle, Joe Biden was my
Jill
favorite.
Biden looked
Outside of
good.
Michelle, Joe Biden was my favorite.
Her lapels had like the fur or whatever on it.
I
She
was
had the
here for all of
matching
that.
face mask. She was here. The
I was
only
here for
thing I liked,
everything Jill was putting down. I was here for all of it.
only thing I liked on Kamala, I didn't even care for Kamala's hair because it was the same old, same old. I didn't even like Kamala's hair. The only thing I liked that Kamala had on was those black stilettos she had on. I was here for the black stilettos she had on. They was real nice. But other than that, I was like, Kamala girl, you did not represent for the A, the K, and the A today. Okay? I thought she was gonna come out in one more sickening pink. I expected to see her in pink, honey.
Well,
All pink.
she said she wore purple for Shirley Chisholm. I mean Shirley Chisholm. Excuse me, Shirley Chisholm. She wore that purple was an ode to Shirley Chisholm. I guess her famous purple outfit. So that's what the color was about.
Mm. I
I'm
still
just
think
telling you
it
what
could
she said.
no, and that's okay. But even if you're gonna do the purple, it just wasn't enough for me. It didn't match the moment. To me.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I
Oh,
don't disagree with you at all.
hey, but Jessica, hey, dark chocolate.
I'm just telling you what the people said.
The Biden granddaughters look good. Yeah, they did. All the children look good. They look good today. But Jill Biden did that. Jill Biden, like I said, I loved all of the former first ladies looked good today. Even Nancy Pelosi, and I know Nancy Pelosi sometimes give me Skeletor, but she looked good today.
She
She looked
did.
like she looked good today. I was here for her. Rock a badass pantsuit. Then what she had on, it was still ill fitted to me. It seemed a little big on her. I feel like they didn't get a chance to fit her well. I feel like they just sent it to her and she put it on. Um,
Vovo said Shirley was not pleased. I'm not doing this with Vovo.
she might
I'm
not,
not doing this with Vovo.
but I feel like I don't think she could have got away with wearing a pantsuit. Not if you're taking oath of office as the first female vice president. She had to wear a dress or a skirt or something.
Hillary would have done it. Hillary would have had a sickening pantsuit on. You know that.
Hillary probably would have, but this is Hillary. We have
I'm just telling you.
you know, sure. I'm just saying. But I feel like Kamala, for what Kamala gives, Kamala had to do a skirt. It was not gonna be a pantsuit today. Not today.
No.
Um let's talk about the performances. Garth Brooks was Garth Brooks, you know, child, I guess. Whatever. I told you I hated every part of your girl J Lo. Not your girl specifically, really be, but somebody girl. Jenny from the block. Um, Lady Gaga was great. Loved Lady Gaga. I loved the arrangement. I loved her outfit. It was big. It was gaudy. It was Lady Gaga. I don't expect Lady Gaga to do anything that is not big and over the top. It still fit for the occasion. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Lady Gaga, you be like, girl, all of that.
I don't know if it still fit for the occasion because I
I,
thought
I felt like it
she
did.
looked like she was already at the ball. She looked like she was already at the inaugural
I
ball.
liked it.
I
It
don't.
fit
I
the
mean,
color scheme, went with everything. I liked it. I liked it.
let's be clear. It's Lady Gaga, and I expect nothing less of a Lady Gaga than what she came in. But no, it did not fit the occasion for me.
I loved it. I loved it. It made um it made everything. I loved it. That red listen, that skirt. I told Really B today she looked like a flower turned upside down, like a rose or something that was flipped upside down. How big that skirt was, that red skirt. Like it looked like a big red rose turned upside down, and her body was yeah, Tabitha. Everybody said they love Lady Gaga. You the only one who say you ain't like her.
I could see, here you go. You took what I said and you did not accurately. I said it would have. I said I thought she was already at the ball. I said I didn't think it fit the occasion. I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I didn't like it for that.
Oh,
That's what I said.
I didn't think it was bad, Jason. I thought, listen, Lady Gaga has some vocals now, and I think she demonstrated that today. She was good for me. She was theatrical and all, but that's what she gives. I liked her performance. It was
Yeah,
good
I
for
was
me.
here for Lady Gaga.
It was a good arrangement for me. I was here for it. I was here for it. To get some better wig
Yeah, I
glue,
was here for Lady
child.
Gaga.
Not better wig glue. Y'all, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Y'all gonna
I'm not doing
stop.
that.
Y'all gonna stop.
I'm not doing this with y'all. But please let's be clear. The performance of the day was Amanda Gorman. That young lady was everything. From what she had on, baby, she probably had a whole team of people said, listen, you gonna go out there, your hair's gonna be laid out. She had a little twist or braids or whatever it was in a little bun. That yellow jacket was everything. Like it fit her. It looked like it was really tailored to her. She's a slim, nice, and she's a dark girl. So that yellow cast against, her skin just made the melanin pop. I was here for all. She had on a white shirt underneath. I think she had on like a red belt or something. It was something red on her, I remember. Oh no, she had a little ribbon in her head.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
she
red.
had a
That's
big
probably
old
her.
thing on her head.
Yeah, the thing
It
on
wasn't
her
a
head
little
that was,
ribbon. Yeah.
it wasn't a ribbon, it was something that was holding the bun or whatever up. She was everything. No, she was everything. I know. I From what I understand, that was her poem. That was her poem. She's a poet, her own. That was her poem. Mr. Fit Brown dude. That wasn't Maya Angelou's. That was hers. So, what did you think of Miss Gorman? I thought Miss Gorman
I
was
was here for her.
everything.
I was here for her.
She was everything. I mean,
And
that
that's
was
why
one girl
Michelle Obama
magic.
was like, forget COVID. She gave her a big old hug. Like, I don't even care about COVID, girl. You did that.
So yeah, yeah, that's her poem. She wrote that. She's still young. She's in her early 20s. I know she graduated from
She ain't.
Harvard.
No,
Yeah,
she's not in her 20s.
she is. I looked it up. I looked it up because I
I
wanted
didn't
to make
say
sure.
anything. I didn't say
Oh,
anything.
I wanted to make sure I got her right date, but she did go to Harvard. She did. Um, yeah, she's in her 20s. And but yeah, she was beautiful and she was great. She somebody had to, and I'm not going to say somebody, but I could see this catapulting her
My
into that
bad.
next
Everybody.
level of
Right. Thank you, everybody. My bad. I thought she was younger than that. Sorry. My bad.
um
My bad.
I could see this definitely catapulting her into that next, echelon, that upper top where I could see people asking her to and you're gonna see, listen, an English teacher like me have whole lessons breaking down every word, syllable, letter, and character of that poem. I can already see that. I can already see it. So it was definitely that was a great poem. And Biden's speech on a scale of 1 to, if I'm being honest, hold on, let me take a sip of lemonade. On a scale of 1 to 10 of inauguration speeches, I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to give her I'm going to give him a 4. Not that I thought it was bad, but there was nothing, a good inauguration speech has a line or has something that stands out that you pull out and you say, yeah, that is that person. And I don't have a problem with during certain speeches you giving a nod to previous speeches, but an inauguration speech is where you're supposed to have phrases, words, saying a line that other people in other speeches point to. And I just didn't get that moment from him. And I know you and me really be talking about him not being the greatest of orators, and him coming from a past of having problems speaking and with stuttering and things like that.
Joe is a conversationalist. He's not so much of
Right,
he's a converse. He's the guy that's going to have a conversation with you.
right. And at a certain point, that while that's all well fine and dandy, when you become the primary leader, when you're at the top of the food chain, you got to be able to turn on, become the orator, the speaker, the one who galvanizes the troops. It's not just a one-on-one conversation, all of the time. So I know that's something that he's definitely going to have to work on. And you and I also spoke about the fact that I just hope he has a great team of speech writers around him, because
He
he
needs
definitely,
Toby Ziegler. I told you that earlier. He needs
you
Toby
know what,
Ziegler.
Toby was good. Toby was so good.
I love
He
Toby Ziegler.
was.
And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about the speechwriter on the West
On
Wing.
West Wing. If you
I
don't know
love
who
Toby
Toby Ziegler is, he was so good. But can I be honest? They should have the names of all the COVID victims in the long garden where the small flags were. That's a lot of names.
I'm
400,000.
about to say they still be playing that. God darn,
Right.
that's 400,000 names. Golly.
Jesus. That's
That's
a whole lot of names.
sheesh. I
Yeah.
mean, no disrespect, but that's a lot of names.
Um, somebody said something about the next Maya. I don't know. Maya is Maya. I'd love for her to be the next Amanda Gorman. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
don't
make
like
her
when they
own.
do that. Like I don't like when we do that because let the person be the person. Like, oh, that's the next Whitney Houston. No, like I understand what people are trying to say and it's a compliment, but it's like that's you put a lot on somebody when you say, "Hey, that's the next dot dot dot." Then you've automatically put a lot on that person. Let them blaze their own trail because see what happens is when if she takes on that moniker, yes, I'm the next Maya Angelou, then whenever she does something that people say Maya wouldn't have done that.
Hmm.
Mm-mm. Oh no, Maya wouldn't have. You know what I mean? It in my opinion, it sort of limits you a little bit.
Yeah, it does put you in a box, and you don't want to be in a box. Hell, she might surpass her. You
But
you
that's
know
what
what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying. But that's the point. You know what I mean? It's like
And yeah, you
even when
gotta
people
let
are
people
singing,
be
it's like
them.
right. Even when people are singing, it's like, oh no, Whitney wouldn't have hit that note like that. Oh no, that's not Whitney. And it's like, but I'm not trying to be Whitney. I'm just a great singer. Y'all said that, not me.
Hmm. But yeah, I could like that, and that's why I said earlier I could see this catapulting her into that upper echelon
Yeah. Oh,
of great
yeah. And I don't have no
poets
problem with her being in that upper echelon. I just,
where people
you
are
know,
saying, "Can you come and speak here?" or "We need you to
yeah.
speak at this ceremony," and different. Because I love when because I was looking at a transcript of what she wrote. There was a lot of nods to just be a black person here in America. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of that in there and stuff like that. So I was here for her. But like I said, Biden's speech, I was wondering why Chief Justice Roberts didn't come out in the Chief Justice robe. The Chief Justice robe usually has the gold stripes on it.
Hmm.
And I was wondering why he came out there in just a regular black robe. And I was like, okay. Um
Maybe it was in the cleaners.
for the inauguration.
Like my bad. I didn't get there
I
by
got to go pick it up.
5 o'clock. No, I wasn't there by 5 o'clock, man. My bad. I don't know.
Like, I want to know the name of that cleaners because that cleaners definitely is immediately going out of business. Oh, you
Okay.
have this vote done for the inauguration. Like, y'all ain't stay up all night making sure this man um did have his role. Where was Kamala's father? That's a very good question that I certainly do not have answers to.
I thought
I don't. I wasn't looking for her family.
I'm
So
about to say,
I
don't get me
wouldn't even
lying.
give
I
it.
don't even want to make nothing up. I was getting ready to say
Yeah,
something. I
I
don't even
wasn't
want to
even
make nothing
looking
up.
for her family, so I don't even know. Um, Can we talk about?
I feel like he was a deadbeat or something. I feel like he wasn't around.
I
But
don't know.
don't quote me on that.
Don't make me. I ain't gonna put that on that man.
I
But
don't quote me, child. Don't quote me.
can we talk about the presence of the Obamas still casting the
Stole
shadows?
the show. Stole the
Everybody, even the performers, every time somebody left the stage, they gave a little hi to Joe, hi to Kamala. Baby, they made a beeline over there to Barack and Michelle and gave them hugs and like, hey, so glad to see y'all. Love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. And then they exited. Even when everybody was exiting the building, everybody went up to Michelle. I love the little moment. I wanted to get and I hope somebody got a picture with Michelle, Barack, and Amanda all together. When they were hugging at one point at the as everybody was exiting, I thought that was a beautiful picture, especially with the colors and stuff.
The picture that I got the picture that I wanted with Michelle and George. That's all I wanted. I wanted some Michelle and George.
Because you know the Michelle and George, G Dub, they always are whole mood. Michelle and G Dub,
They are
child.
listen. I mean, because they are friends in real life. She's like, we are friends in real life. Like I love him, and he loves her.
Yeah, the Obama's a royalty. That is That is the
The
closest you
American
get
royal,
to
they, sort of like what
American
reminds of the
royalty.
Kennedys, like the Kennedys.
Hmm. But that is the closest you get right now in 21st century America to American royalty. Like they can do no wrong. I'm just saying. Um,
Listen,
it is what it is. I'm sorry. They stole the show. They stole the show. What do you want from me? But yeah, I mean, Joe's speech, it did, it was a speech. It
but
was
it still can't be no worse than what your president did 4 years ago. So
talking about the American carnage. I never
yeah,
will forget him talking about American carnage. That is the one thing I took away from that inauguration speech. I was like, did he just come up there and talk about American
listen,
carnage?
I remember watching it, and I was already depressed. Right, I was already not here for his whole inauguration situation. I was already depressed, and I remember we were at work, and that's when I was still working at the jail. And my principal let us. I mean, not let us, but we were watching it like on our lunch break, and we were all so depressed after that speech. Like real talk, she canceled classes. She was like, "Y'all just put some, just send some work. We not. I'm not even moving the kids." Like we were all just. Our energy was so like after that speech. What the hell are you supposed to do? Like it was like go slit your wrist type shit. It was horrible.
It was yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But I just don't. And why? And now here's the sad part. A lot of times a teacher will say, "Give me an A or F." Give me an A or an F. You know what I'm saying? Give me an A or an F. And while Trump gave me an F, which made it memorable, Joe, you gave me a C minus. I'm not going to remember this C minus in the stack of papers. You know what? I'm reading a whole stack of papers. That C minus. I don't remember what he wrote in that. The parent go come. Did you read Joe's essay today? How did you like it? And in your mind as a teacher, you like, "Child, remember," or the student might come up to you and say, "Oh, did you read my essay? Tell me about my essay." And I was like, "I don't remember." And I always be like, "Give me a moment. Let me go pull it out the folder." Because in
Yeah,
my mind, I'm like,
yeah.
"I don't remember what you wrote. It didn't stick out to me." Mm-mm. Hey, Abby. Hey, Bap. 0485. I was like, "Hey, Miss Baythang." Child, and that's how I feel. I feel like 4 years from now, nobody's going to remember what he said in the speech.
But I tell you what, they might not
People,
remember what he said, but they're gonna remember how he made us feel. We might not remember what he said, but we're gonna remember how he made us feel.
He didn't make me feel any kind of way. I was just like, okay. I mean, I didn't feel bad.
The
I
speech
was
that
just,
Donald Trump gave at his inauguration.
oh, you talking about Trump's speech?
No, Tabitha asked, "What speech was I talking about?"
Oh, okay, okay. Hey, Jaded Nerd. Um, so yeah,
Hey, Dated. Mwah.
um, so that happened. Mike Pence did come. He did, do the traditional. They walking out of the east side of the
Oh,
Capitol and stuff like
God.
that afterwards. And you know what, Ella? So, um,
I can listen. I don't have no respect for Pence, but I appreciate that he did do that. That he did
right.
not. That he did not go to Trump's farewell party. That he did show up and he did perform his duty as vice president. I appreciate that he came to the inauguration and he went through the whole pomp and circumstance. I
He
can
did.
um appreciate
But
that.
Mike Pence is a politician. Mike Pence knows how to,
He's a
even in
politician. He
concession, yeah, he
understands.
knows how to play the game.
Yes.
You know. Hey Nita, what's going on, girl? I feel like I ain't seen you in a while. In a while, not in a while, in a while. So today, because there was the absence of a lot of the pomp and circumstance and a lot of the congratulatory um balls and parties and get-togethers because of COVID. Um, Joe Biden said, "I'm getting right to work," and he started by signing 17 executive orders today.
17. Sure did.
17. Um, I'm going to go through them. Not all of them in grave detail, but there are some that are important to us that we do need to talk about because they are important in the immediacy of trying to do away with what 45 had going on. Dear God, oh God. The first one was he launches a 100 days masking challenge, asking Americans to wear masks for 100 days. Requires masks and physical distancing in federal buildings, on federal lands, and by government contractors, and urges states and local governments to do the same. The good and bad about that is this: you can do that for federal properties, federal lands, federal buildings, but the problem is you have states like the South Carolinas, the Texases, the Georgias, the Floridas, and some of these other red states that's gonna look at you and be like, I don't give a shit about you and your mask challenge. I'm not making my people wear masks, and there's nothing that the Biden administration can do except enforce it on government property, on
But we knew
federal government
but we
property.
already knew that though.
No, I know me and you knew that, but there are a lot of people who may not be aware of that. Some people are I can't take for granted that everybody is as knowledgeable as I can because I know people who are adults that tell me, "Oh, the president could do this, and the whole country is going to have to do it." And I have to remind them that's not how these yet to be United States of America work. While we may want these things to be sweeping across the country, the president can only make these things happen for federal ground, federal
Right,
property and
right.
land.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
I
And,
understand that.
yeah, and trust me, Republican governors are looking to have pushback. There are many of them that are going to try to run in 2024. There are many, and so they got a point to prove. And if you think a lot of these Republican governors are not going to start to flex as much as they want Governor Square or Adams Street, it's a child. Governor Square Mall do not care. Governor Square Mall. If you want to get to Governor Square Mall, you go to the Capitol building and Tallahassee, Florida. You go straight down Appalachian Parkway and you'll run into Governor Square Mall. And they do not care. That's the mall that gets shut down every family
Right.
homecoming.
And I understand that. And I understand that. And because of states' rights, we know he can't mandate it. But I do think that there are a lot of people who I think that we know that they're the people that's just not gonna comply. Like that's just that. But I think people will. Like again, it goes back to leadership. There are people who are just going to be diehard Trump, whatever. But then there are a lot of people who are like, okay, I guess the jig is up. Let me put this damn mask on. And let's be clear: when you on federal property, I think a lot of people may not even understand the difference, and they might go to show up for, like I mean, again, I can speak here for DC. DC has a way more federal property than I think a lot of people realize. And even something as simple, like there are places that are federal property in DC that I don't think people realize is federal land. So it might be the same in other states as well.
Well, the reality of the situation is in other states, most people don't. There are very few places people go that are federal property. Post offices, maybe you have to go to a federal
But
courthouse.
state parks, I mean not state parks, national parks, all of
National park,
that's
there's
federal
not a
property.
lot. of national parks. Some states have more national park areas than
No,
other
I get it,
states.
but I'm just saying. I think
Yeah.
I say this. I think every little bit is better than what we've been getting
Yeah,
for the.
no, definitely. Something having something in place
Yeah,
is better than having nothing. I just want us to really take a sound look at it because I know those Republican governors are chomping at the bit to do anything in their power to flex and show, oh,
absolutely
I'm
they
going
are.
against the grain
Absolutely they
and I'm
are.
not going to do that, and that's going to be their launching pad for their candidacy for presidency. Um the next one was that the United States is going to stop their withdrawal from the World Health Organization, and they're going to have Dr. Fauci become the head of the delegation for the WHO. So we are, because remember Trump denounced the
Right, we're
WHO,
back
and
in there.
so we're
We
going
in
back
there.
to be with the World Health Organization. He signed an executive order that created the position of COVID-19 response coordinator, reporting directly to Joe Biden and managing efforts to produce and distribute vaccines and medical equipment. So there's a almost, if you want to call it like a czar, a COVID-19 czar, or a person who's I forgot. I was supposed to have the name and I didn't write it down. I forgot. I forgot. I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody will look it up and fact check me. For he's going to extend the existing nationwide moratorium on evictions and foreclosures until March 31st. He's extending the existing pause on student loan payments and interest for Americans with federal student loans until
He's
at least
requesting. He's requesting
September.
that.
Um,
That's not a done deal. He's requesting that. That has to be
well,
approved
this
by
was
Congress.
it was already in place. There was already something in place.
Right.
He just wants to extend it.
Right. But I just want to. But I just want people to understand that there's a difference. He's requesting it. That has to be approved. The executive order is the formal request. He can't
Yeah, yeah.
mandate. I just know I know I understand the difference, but I just want other people to understand that I don't want nobody to not make their student loan payment next month just in case. Just telling y'all.
Hey,
That's all.
Nastasia. Hey, Fran J. Hey, MBN. Um,
Because I'm one of them people. I'm just saying I got my eye on this
you
because
say
I'm
Eugene
one of
Goodman
them
was looking
people.
fine in that tan coat with Nappy Child. He did have on that tan coat. He was all over the place today. They made him what was it, deputy sergeant at arms or something for the day.
Yes, I forgot. I meant to mention that
Yeah,
during my
and
live.
he had on that
Yes, Eugene
infamous
got a
that
promotion,
beige.
honey.
Listen, that beige tan coat gonna be everywhere. It was
Listen,
nice, a nice coat.
and he was strutting too. He was walking like he knew.
He
He was
was, he was
walking
getting
like he knew. I
it.
said, you better go ahead with that good promotion. I ain't mad at you with that good promotion.
You saw him. You saw him. He was here for
Yes,
it.
he was here for it. I ain't mad at you, boo.
Um, he's going to he signed an executive order to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord. That takes about a month, 30 days or so, before it can be enacted. But he is signing that to request to be back into the to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord. Um, He signed an executive order that canceled the Keystone XL pipeline and directs agencies to review and reverse more than 100 Trump actions on the environment. Now, the Keystone pipeline is important because that's this pipeline that, if I'm not mistaken, comes from parts of Canada and goes all the way through the midsection of the country. And there's a lot of things that goes along with that fracking, and there's just a lot of things that goes along with that is harmful to the environment. And the Midwest has a lot of national parks, has a lot of environmental areas that have protections and things, and they're looking into stopping that. Um he signed an executive order to rescind the Trump administration's 1776 commission that directs agencies to review actions to ensure racial equity. The 1776 commission, if you are not familiar with what that is one of the worst things in the history of this country. Last September, Donald Trump put together what he called the 1776 Commission. And a lot of people, this went under the radar. It wasn't talked about a lot. There was a 1619, it wasn't the 1619 Commission. It was called the 1619. Oh, I can't think of the name of it, but it was a Yale and some other schools did this study that talked about the effects of slavery on this country. And it was a report that came out that talked about how horrible it was and how racial inequalities stemmed from the 1619 um, landing here on America and slavery and so forth. Trump got upset about that. And last September, he commissioned what he called the 1776 Commission, which went about to come to change history, to basically say some almost, almost, I hate to say rewrite history, but in essence, that's what they were intending to do.
Is that what
And
you asked me about, Mr. Brown? Child, you got too many names. You know who I'm talking to. Because somebody asked me something about 1776, but it was just, it didn't, it was no context to it. I was like, what do you mean? But okay, I'm familiar with this. I know what this is.
right, and they were, their report actually came out Monday. Their official report came out Monday on Martin Luther King Day. And they did things like said that, colleges were anti-American institutions that were responsible for libel and it was awful. It was horrible. There were things where they gave scathing comments about the civil rights movement and how it was not good, about women's suffrage and how that was a it was the rewriting of a lot of really you would be shocked as a history teacher to read the report that
No,
came
I
out
wouldn't.
from the 1776 Commission.
No, I wouldn't.
And it was dangerous. It was
Yeah.
dangerous. Had that something like that been able to be a part of, you know, uh, what the government was putting out there as truth, that would have been reckless and dangerous. And I'm glad that there's an actual executive order to rescind that, because it was deplorable. If you read it, it looks like something that a fifth grader wrote who knew nothing about history, who had never read a history book, who had never saw anything on television about history. Like, it's so revisionist history is putting it lightly. That would be making it sound good. It was pretty horrible. It was pretty horrible. But yeah, it came out. Their report came out on Monday on MLK Day, and it was so disrespectful. It was so very disrespectful. 2 days before he came out of office, um, decided to an executive order that prevents workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. Now, he didn't do it today, but I can foresee him rescinding some of those orders that Trump put in place that was going to take federal monies from jobs and organizations that talked about um um racial equality and discrimination and things like that, because Trump had signed orders that took away money from federal money from organizations, from workplaces, from colleges and things like that, if they did any um professional development or teaching in the form of racial equality or racial discrimination and things like that. Just awful stuff. We talked about that on one of my lives once. He signed an executive order that requires non-citizens to be included in the census and appointment of congressional representatives, which is good, because that's a reversal from what Trump had did. He fortified DACA after Trump's efforts to undo protections for undocumented people brought into the country as children. He's signed a order that reverses administration the Trump administration's restriction on the U.S. It's the travel ban. He rescinded the travel ban, basically. He undid Trump's expansion of the immigration enforcement within the United States. There was a lot of things that Trump tried to do to halt immigration into the country, and so he submitted an executive order for that to put a stop to those. He halted construction of the border wall with one of his executive order by terminating the national emergency declaration that Trump used to fund it. He's extended deferrals of deportations and work authorizations for Liberians within with a safe haven in the United States until June 30th, 2022. He requires the executive branch appointees to sign an ethics pledge, barring them from acting in personal interest and requiring them to uphold the independence of the Department of Justice, which is really important because, as you know, the nepotism, the cronyism that Trump had going on, there were people who were making money on the government, making personal money on the government's dime, using their positions in the Trump administration to make personal gains, which is a violation of the emoluments clause and so forth. It was just really out of hand. It was just really out of order. And then he signed an executive order that directs the OMB, that's the Office of Management and Budget, the OMB director, to develop recommendations to modernize regulatory reviews and undoes Trump's regulatory approval process. The OMB is the largest department within the executive branch. It is responsible for the budget that the president puts out. It is responsible. It is the major executive arm of the president's cabinet and or the executive branch, and it's responsible for a lot of regulations that come through the executive branch in the White House. And so Donald Trump um put a lot of halt to what they could do. Yeah, he signed all those today, Tabitha. Donald Trump put and when he came in office, all of the he basically wanted the OMB to always funnel everything through him. If it wasn't coming from somebody that he liked, if it didn't say something that he personally didn't rubber stamp, whether or not it was legal or illegal or it went with standard traditions of the office of the president, he did not care. And so there's a going back to normalcy within the OMB, which is important. That is all 17 of them that he signs today. Now he plans to sign, have a lot more things come between on Friday. He's going to have put in place a whole slew of things that he's going to sign and get started with in terms of the economic reforms in terms of this country and what he some things that he wants to do with that. Friday's supposed to be a big day in terms of the Biden presidency and things that they want to do economically within this country. I'm sure there will be talk about um more COVID relief bills and different things to help certain uh, workplaces and certain jobs, businesses, and avocations to do better and get out of, have some relief from COVID. But just on the first day alone, as you can see, there was a lot that was done there. And I'm not going to say it's not uncommon because you do notice on that first day, uh, a president coming into office they traditionally do a lot of things because maybe their predecessor was from a different political party, and so they try to right all the wrongs, so to speak, that the person before them had done. And so that's what, and there, as you can see, there was a lot of wrongs that were done that he's trying to fix. I know that was a lot, really. Be talk about these while I take a swig of water. I feel like I'm on Teacher Project 2.0, and we're going.
I know, right? So a lot of these are things that remember, and I'm gonna speak for Tabitha when I say this as well right now. Remember when you watch us, you watch myself, you watch El Teddy, you watch Tabitha, aka Beautiful Soul. You may watch some, any of these other political people that talk politics sometime, right? We talk other stuff too, but we get into the politics. And we always tell you guys the reason why Trump was allowed to get away with a lot of what he was allowed to get away with is because all the stuff we didn't know. Because all the deals that were going on behind closed doors. And so when you hear a lot of these executive orders, a lot of this is just Biden reversing a lot of the stuff that Trump did. Now, the stuff like the travel ban, we knew because it was such a big deal. It was such a catastrophe with the airports being blocked and all of that stuff that happened. So we knew all about the travel ban. We heard about the wall, but I don't think people realize how much money was being funneled into building this wall and that they were actually building a wall. I think a lot of people just thought it was rhetoric and didn't realize a lot of this stuff was going on. Some of these other policies, like you said, the 1776 Commission, the policies on transgender protections and stuff like that. I mean, I'm talking about LGBTQ protection. I don't think a lot of people realize that those policies were put in place because they weren't making headlines. And so when you think back on why would they let Trump do this? Why would they let Trump do this? Because they were getting what they wanted. They were getting what they wanted. The tax cuts and all of this other stuff. So imagine how many other things are so tangled up that we probably are not. When a lot of this stuff starts getting revealed, now that Mitch McConnell is no longer in charge, and they start realizing, when they start, and I'm not saying everything is going to be untangled, because sometimes once it's done, it's just a done deal. But when you start seeing some of this stuff get untangled, you're going to be like, when did that happen? Well, I didn't know about that,
And there was a lot of things, a lot of people just are naive. Naive is the wrong word. Novices, I should say, when it comes to the real inner workings of the White House. Remember, it's an entire branch of government. And so while you have all of these departments and things like that, there's a lot of, people call it bureaucracy, but there are a lot of processes and there are a lot of things, standard operating procedures that were in place so that we did not have a monarch, so that we did not have an authoritarian dictator running around. And what he did was, when he got into office, he talked to a lot of legal people who were familiar with the inner workings of the White House. And he says, how do I put things in place that gets me as close to being that as I can in the office of the president? And so that's why you see the OMB, that if you could go through and see all of the things that Trump did to the Office of Management and Budget, which, like I said, is the largest department within the executive branch. And he put a lot of things in place that allowed the Jared Kushners and Ivankas to be there making money, that allowed the Steve Bannons in there, that allowed, what's the alien dude's name I can't think of, the one with the big forehead, Steve
Mnuchin?
No, not Steve Mnuchin. The other one who run around the doggone White House all the time. He's been there all for.
Steve Bannon?
No, the skinny one. Oh, no.
Oh, then I don't know who you're talking about.
When I'm gonna call his name. Oh God, I can't think of his name.
But here's the problem, and I hear a lot of people saying we need more checks and balances. We need this, we need that. I agree that certain things need to be tightened up because the Constitution, remember, this is a document that was written in 1774. This is not like, there's no internet. There's so many things that just
Miller, thank you, Stephen Miller. Thank you. Oh God.
Oh God, yes. I don't know.
Oh my God.
How could I forget Stephen Miller? Oh my gosh.
Thank y'all. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Look like an alien with a big old forehead and stuff like that. Oh God, he got on my nerves.
The problem with our checks and balances over the last 4 years isn't that the checks and balances are there. It is that we had a whole branch of government that failed to do their job. The Supreme Court did their job. As much as we didn't like what happened in the last 4 years with Trump being able to put 2 people on the Supreme Court, when it was time for them to do their job, they did their job. They stuck to the law. They were not, they didn't give Trump what he thought he was going to get from them, which was basically a carte blanche. It was the legislative branch that failed.
Absolutely.
So it's not that the checks and balances don't exist. They do exist. The problem is that We had a whole branch of government that failed us as an American people.
And the thing about it is, they acquiesced on their own accord.
Yeah, yeah,
There's no the legislative branch does not have to acquiesce to the will of the executive branch. They can very much say, "Oh, you want to do that? No, we're not having that because the American people do not want that." And because Mitch McConnell, who y'all, as bad as Joshua Hawley is, as bad as Ted Cruz is, Mitch McConnell is one of the worst human beings walking the face of the planet for some of the
facts,
things that he
facts.
did and allowed to happen. And I don't want people to whitewash it and make it like all of a sudden now he's some gracious, nice person. He is a horrible person. Mitch McConnell did some things as the majority leader that goes against everything that the founding fathers would have wanted. That goes against everything that means anything about a check and balances. There was no check and balances. There was a rubber stamp. And what Mitch McConnell knew was he knew that I'm head of the Senate, which means that technically being head of the Senate, I can be more powerful than the president if I want to.
Exactly.
If we're really being,
They took advantage. They took advantage of the fact that we had an idiot. They took advantage of the fact that he surrounded himself with yes men instead of people who were going to enforce the law. Now, I do agree that a lot of loopholes were exposed in these last 4 years, and they need to be
Mhm.
tightened up. I agree 100%
Absolutely,
because I think
absolutely.
we've leaned way too much on tradition and precedence
Mhm,
instead of the law, and I think we allowed a lot of things to slide because that's just what people always did.
mhm.
And so
And a
now
lot of
that
things
this
were just
person,
left to chance. It was real loosey
exactly,
goosey.
and
It
I
was
do,
left.
but
Oh, nobody would ever do that. Oh, they would never do that.
exactly,
People have morals and standards, and then you got a clown in there.
yep. And I think that I think they will be. I think a lot of those things will be tightened up. It's not going to be on the top of the list. Let's be clear. There are a lot of other things that we got to take care of first. But I think that within these next 4 years, certain things are going to be addressed. The emoluments clause is going to be tightened up. It is
Mhm,
absolutely going to be tightened up because that has been one of the biggest violations. Is that they really circumvented the emoluments clause, and Congress didn't enforce. The one, they circumvented the clause, but two, Congress didn't enforce what they could have enforced because Congress could have stopped Ivanka from working there. They maybe not so much Jared Kushner, but Ivanka certainly. Congress should have canceled all of those contracts that Donald Trump had with his hotels and with Mar-a-Lago, like all
mhm.
of that shit. But again, we've never had a president that took advantage of that kind of shit before. We just never had it.
When I look at some of the people that he put in place, and you're talking about people who have lifelong professional careers dedicated to the departments with which they have been asked to head and lead. And I know one of the things in the conversations that I've had is he's told those people, I need you to go through your department like with a fine tooth comb, tighten it up. You tighten it up. You send me the recommendations of things that need to be put in place and changed so that we don't have what we just had for the last 4 years. And I will have, White House counsel, different people, and so forth go through it and make sure it is what it needs to be. And so I do think that it's going to take a while, like you said, really be because he's going to have those people go through their departments
Right.
and really see
Yeah, they're
what
gonna have to be
is what.
some reports written and things like that. Because I know just to use for an example, Ronald Reagan, Daddy Bush, when they would go on vacation or go away for the weekend, they would go to Texas and California. Ronald Reagan had a ranch in California. That's where he liked to go all the time, right? Same thing with Bush. They had their ranch down in Texas, and they would go there all the
Well,
time.
he would go to Maine or Daddy Bush,
Right, but
Kennebunkport
they had okay, so whatever Maine, but what I'm saying is yeah, because George Bush had the ranch,
Ranch
Daddy
in
Bush, whatever,
Texas.
right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the difference is those were always private residences that were not going to be built on a commercial level. So the
Mhm.
problem with Trump going to Mar-a-Lago is that is a commercial property. And so everything that happened at that property, he could then turn around and build the American people for as a property own, as a commercial property, whereas when Ronald Reagan would go to his ranch, that was a private residence, and it was just him, the Secret Service, whatever. But the security was increased because he was in a public place and not a private residence, and he could build them for all of that. And so, like, these are the little, not little things, but these are the things that's why going to Mar-a-Lago was a big fucking deal. Every time
And that's just, but really, here's the thing. That's just domestically. Remember, he has properties and things like that internationally, and he will go around looking, turning the other, turning the things that had properties were doing that was contrary to everything that we stood for as a country, but because they had a property in his and he didn't want to stop from making money, and Congress didn't stop him from making money over there, it just continued to happen. It just continued to happen.
exactly. That damn hotel that he has here in DC should have immediately should have had to change hands. And I don't mean to another member of his family, because there were dignitaries that were staying there. So now it becomes a quid pro quo.
Mhm.
I'm not going to charge you to stay here, but I'm the president of the United States. And when I need something, I expect you to pick up the phone. And people might say, well, it's not a big deal. It's just staying at a hotel. But what people didn't realize is there are people living just like they live at Trump Plaza up in New York. There are people living in that hotel and aren't paying any rent.
Or when you got some of those countries over there in the Middle East that are doing horrific things.
But that's what
they got property, and they told him by no stretch of the imagination, we got your property over here. We expect for you to turn a blind eye. Don't say nothing and keep it moving. And guess what he did? He said nothing and he kept it moving. That's why all of our allies was looking at us sideways, because they were like, wait a goddamn minute. You over here doing deals, backdoor quid pro deals with these people? And then it wasn't just Trump. See, people always want to make it like it's Trump. It's because, like really be said, the legislative branch was complicit. They sat there and they allowed it to go on. They allowed it. They did not care, because what they said was, oh, we're just going to get all of these things that we want. As long as we follow him, that means that I'll get elected to another term. It guarantees that all my people and my cronies going to be in there. I can line my pockets with my business, because if he can do it, I can do it too. And that's how we end up with what we got now.
Let's be clear. That is what the Ted Cruzes and the Josh Hawleys are leveraging against. Let's be clear. They don't really give a damn about Trump any more than the next person. What they want are his voters. They want those 72 million voters, because in 4 years, they absolutely plan to run for president.
Absolutely.
And they want those voters. So again, it's just it's a game. But that's why and here's the thing. I love politics. I'm here for the shits. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the game. But the problem is you didn't do your job. Like, I'm cool with you saying, oh, well, I want to run for president and I'm leveraging and I'm trying to get supporters and voters. That's what people do. It is what it is. The problem is, in the meantime, you were an epic fail to the people of this country. You know what I'm saying? And that was what was so disheartening, and what would anger me. Trump wasn't even my issue, because you know what you're getting with Trump. The problem was the emperor had no clothes, and ain't nobody make him go put none on.
The other problem is too, and this is going to Schumer and Pelosi. Do not sit there, Schumer and Pelosi, and not go after your colleagues that's sitting in the same chambers with you all that are just as responsible.
Facts.
Now, those are the people who you need to be having all kinds of expulsion arguments and stuff like that on the floor about. Those people need to have documents drawn up on them. Schumer and Pelosi, you owe it to the American public. Just as mad as y'all got at Trump, y'all should be just as mad at y'all colleagues, because you owe it to the American public to do that, because they were complicit. And if you do nothing, you look like you're just as complicit as they were, because you don't care.
And I'm be honest with you, and that is why I keep saying I'm interested in seeing what the next couple of months is going to look like. Like all today was great, and I'm not taking nothing away from it. It was a beautiful day. I felt like I could breathe again for the first time in 4 years. Like I know that it ain't gonna be all roses and gold covered, streets. Like I get it. I understand politics, but it was a beautiful day. But what I'm interested in seeing is how is this? They're gonna have to have a congressional hearing on the insurrection. What is it going to look like when we peel back those onions and we really put those dots together and figure out who was who and what was what? What's going to happen when we really start untangling all of this bullshit and realize who was who and what was what? And like you said, El Teddy, are we going to call these people out? Are we going to hold them accountable? Or are we going to say, oh, it happened, it's over, let's move forward? Nah, hell no, hell no.
You can't. It's no way you can. And I saw somebody. Let me scroll back up because I saw somebody say something about 2024. Oh no, it ain't going that long. You have until 2022.
The
Please
midterms, y'all.
understand.
Don't get it twisted. Listen, let me be clear. Midterm election season starts tomorrow.
Exactly.
Please understand.
And please understand, if the Dems don't do what they're supposed to do, 2022 will be like 2010. And
It will
we
be a bloodbath.
really, 2010 was a blood bath.
It will be
Do
a
you hear
bloodbath.
me? And so it's got to you they got to do right, and that's why I say he's going to have in those first, I venture to say it's probably the first sweeping kind of changes to a lot of these departments probably will start toward the end of the summer. Hey, Zap Allen, and so forth, where those departments really have a chance to go through a fine-tooth comb and see exactly where the loopholes are. But even before that, what I'm concerned about is getting all of these cabinet appointments through. Now we know with the Senate being blue right now that it'll be easier, but it's not a rubber stamp because they're, I'll give you a perfect example. Secretary of Defense. There are already Democrats that said that they don't want to give a waiver to General Lloyd Austin. And I could tell you right now, Joe Manchin is going to be a thorn in the side of Democrats. He's already flexing his muscle now. And he feels like he has to be because he's in a state like West Virginia. He is going to be that Democrat. Just like the Republicans can't stand Susan Murkowski and Sass and some of them because they say they always doing too much over there in the middle toward the Dems. Joe Manchin is going to be the same way for the Dems. He's going to be the one that's with the bullshit. I can tell you right now, he's going to be with the fuck shit. I can already see it. He already setting it up. He's already setting it up. I got to call upon the ancestors to protect Joe and Kamala because Trump has radicalized his base at this point. Ain't no telling what those people are trying to do. Child. 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 I mean, here's the thing. You want to know what's going to look like Bizarro World in the Twilight Zone? Watch Fox News over the next 4 years. That
It already is. Like, did you see their coverage of today? Like, it's like what world are you
is
living in,
going to
ma'am,
be a
sir?
Bizarro World. Like, oh man, you can only
I'm
imagine.
like, what? Like, it's not
Listen,
funny, but it's funny. It's like,
but they know
what
they're
world
going
are
to
you
have to
living
compete
in?
there because they're going to start losing viewership because unless the viewers feel like they are way radical right, they're not going to be here for it. That's why your boy left, Shepard Smith. Remember, he left Fox because they was just getting way too Shepard Smith.
I know what you're saying, but I mean,
Oh,
okay. I mean, it
because
ain't stopped them from doing shit. It ain't stopped.
no, but what my
All right.
point is, they're about to go further and further right,
Oh, absolutely.
further and further and further. It is they're gonna look like Breitbart in a moment. Give them a month or two. It's going to be like Breitbart over there or Fox News. Do you hear me? Just a mess. Just a
I will
whole
say this.
mess.
I will say, oh, excuse me. I gotta go get off of here. But I will say this. Anybody that's looking for a government job and you live in the DC area, now is the time to interview, because you know how many positions were left open after Trump. There were so many positions left open that they're gonna have to fill a lot of those positions. It's gonna be some jobs out there now, because
Come
they were
on,
like
y'all.
certain like in certain buildings, they were like the parking decks were like ghost towns because so many people quit or they got fired and they never replaced them. It just wasn't a priority. They just didn't replace them. Friend of mine works at the Department of Education, and he was just talking about how bad it has gotten in the last 4 years with the people. He was like his supervisor was just so incompetent, but Betsy bought him, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. She didn't know what the hell she was doing. It was just crazy. No, I don't have
But
no direct leads. Go to usajobs.gov. Go to
mhm,
the website
yeah.
usajobs.gov. That's where you go to apply for federal jobs.
But it's gonna be funny. Um, I'm looking forward to the Senate confirmation hearings for these cabinet members,
I
and
don't
the
think they're
reason
gonna
that
be that dramatic. I mean,
oh
of
I
course,
well
I don't think they're
see
gonna be that dramatic.
I don't think they are either, but the political nerd in me, you get only a real blurb of who the person is when they're announced by the president elect. But when you get to those hearings, now we get to have them sit down and answer questions about their history, their record, their resume, their ideologies with regard to that particular department. And I remember watching a lot of those during the last president administration to see, a lot of the ideologies. And, people are not going to be watching C-SPAN like I do to see these things. But certain like, Department of Education, I'm going to be here for it.
Oh,
I'm here,
yeah,
or I'll be
I'm one of
right
those
there.
nerds. I'm one of those nerds that watches
I
C-SPAN.
sent
Yeah,
you
yes, I do.
the lady who's going to be deputy, right?
Yeah, I
I
got
sent
it.
you we'll talk about that on Teach Project 2.0. Um, but I want to hear Lloyd Austin. I want to hear
Thank you,
what's
Nappy Child. Thank you.
oh, see, Nappy Child be on it. Nappy Child be on it. European leaders were popping champagne and dropping shots of vodka of happiness.
Oh, but you know who was mad though? You know who was big mad?
Putin,
Putin was big mad.
uh, Putin got him a whole room of Russian skanks to make him feel happy tonight.
Putin was big mad, baby.
Oh man, not only
I
Putin,
would have
but
loved to
there's
be
a
a fly
whole
on that
lot of
ball.
heads of state over there in the Middle East that are upset too. Because it's just a whole mess. And you're glad about the transition today, but I don't want us to as a people become disillusioned and think that okay, now everything tomorrow is going to go back to no,
Right.
it just doesn't work that
It
way.
doesn't. It doesn't. And
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 I
that's
also
what I keep telling people. Like, the streets are not going to be paved with gold. Money is not going to come falling from the sky. Like, it's just, listen, y'all. We're just back to normal politics as usual, and we don't have that schism that we've been dealing with. But let's be clear: some things you can't put back in a box. So Trump talking about he's going to start a third party. Don't be surprised if that really happens, and don't be surprised if they start. It's kind of like the Tea Party of a few years ago. Remember the Tea Partiers back during
Mhm,
Trump? I mean,
sure
during
did.
Obama, they
And they
made a lot of
forced the
headway.
whole Republican Party to
Exactly.
shift and change.
Exactly. And they made a lot of headway. They got a lot of the Ted Cruzes of the world came out of the
Hmm.
Tea Party. And so you see, we still stuck with that. I was going to call. I'm not going to say it, but you see, we still stuck with his ass. Okay, and so this new political group that Trump is going to start, called the Patriots. All of them, even if not all 72 people, even if half of that number decides to listen, y'all, it's the same Trumpsters that we've been dealing with. It's the same Trumpsters that thought that it was okay for them to storm the Capitol because they didn't do what they like. Like, remember that. So please, some things you just it's like Pandora's box. Some things you just can't put back in the box. It just
And
happened. It was what it
and
was.
the other and like I said earlier, the other thing about it is, especially some of the most important legislation that has to be pushed through the Senate is not simple majority. We still have
Right.
the filibuster in place
2/3.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And
And please don't forget
now
about
they're
the
looking to get
filibusters.
rid of the
Mhm.
filibuster. They're looking to get rid of the filibuster, but it's still there. And it only takes a simple majority to beat to do away with the filibuster, but it's still there. And it's going to take some time. People herald what blacks were able to do and accomplish during like the Clinton years and stuff like that. And it was a good time for black people. But remember, those first few years of the Clinton presidency were very tumultuous. It wasn't as pie in the sky as it was maybe in a 97, 98, 99 instead during that second term. And really during the second term, he had so many scandals going on. You look past a lot of things that were not so good. And then when Bush came into office, it exposed all the things that were going on that were not so good. So I'm optimistic, very optimistic, but I definitely am, like we always say, we watch the people who we vote for way harder than we watch the
Right.
people who we did not vote
Right.
for.
And Hillary looked good too, Zap.
Hillary
She
look
looked good.
good. Yeah.
I like her better with that long hair. And listen, it was so funny watching them because they walked out. They were walking out, when they were leaving, they were walking out together. And what Bill do? Bill stopped and started talking to people. What Hillary do? Kept the fuck walking. She was like, I ain't doing this with you. Like, she just used to her husband. She
Listen,
just kept going, like, he'll catch up. I'll be in the car.
listen, they be on such they be on so different page. Bill be over here hobnobbing with everybody. Hillary be like, "Girl, I ain't got that kind of time. Girl,
Right.
I'm
I
not
don't
here
know
for
why
none of
people were
you."
so concerned with their marriage. I'm like, they know what they doing. They know what they
They've been
both
in this
signed
game a
up
long
for.
time.
Right.
They've
They
been in
know
this
what
game
they
a
signed
long
up
time.
for. Bill been a host since they was dating in college in law school. She know who she married.
Mhm. Child, just a mess, just a whole mess. I love the Clintons though. I really love because they're so to me, they're like a typical married couple. Who been married way too long, that been married 30, 40 years, and like, girl, I don't like him. Bitch, I don't like you
It's funny
either.
because it's funny because that's sort of like my parents. At church, my mama is she on every committee. She do everything. That table in the back of the church that's always selling something, but it's always something different. My mama always at that table. She always on that committee. Whatever the committee is that's selling something, whether it's the deaconesses, whether it's the scholarship, it's always. I be like, every time I go to my parents' church, my mama always at the back selling something at the end of service. And you know what my father do? My father be like, your mama upstairs selling something. And either they drive separately, she drives her own car, they take their own car so they can leave when they need to leave. Or my daddy just be in the base downstairs watching the football game while my mama get it together. If it ain't football season, he be taking a nap somewhere. He be like, she'll come find me when she done. He don't even give it. Just is what it is, and it's just the same way. Like she looked back and was like, "All right, he talking to somebody," and she kept right on walking.
You know what was the funny thing to me? I saw on a lot of broadcasts today. The slip up of the day was calling them the Harrises. And remember that that young man, Kamala Harris's husband's last name is not Harris. His last name is Imhoff. And I heard a couple people say the Harrises.
Well,
And
that's
I was
gonna
like,
happen a lot. That's gonna happen a lot.
a nappy child. I'll be honest. I looked at the list of pardons. I was like, it's of no consequence if these people are in or out of jail, and it just didn't matter. The list of pardons can go out of the window with Trump when he left.
Let's be clear.
It was
Like
my concern about the pardons.
for example, Kodak Black, he gonna be back in jail next year.
Hello.
Lil Wayne. Okay, so it makes sense now why you sold your soul to the devil because your ass had them charges and you and your lawyers made a deal. I ain't even mad at you, bruh. Get what you need to get out of it. If you out here stomping for Trump and if the payoff was that you ain't got to go to jail, I ain't even mad at you, bruh.
Okay. But I ain't checking for you either.
Yeah, I don't care.
Let's be clear.
I don't care.
We are not checking for any of those
Tommy,
people.
I hope you learn your lesson, sir. Like, you can't do what the white politicians do. I hope you learn your lesson, sir. Go on, find your family and go on do what you do. Go write a book You're gonna make a good little, you get a good little payday off of a book. Start a podcast. Hell, everybody else got one. Start you a podcast talking about politics. I don't know. But Kwame, take what you got, boo. Steve Bannon, we knew this was fucking gonna happen. I don't even know who half them other people are on the list. I don't care.
Yeah,
I really
it was
don't.
of no consequence to me.
I mean,
Like,
let's be clear. Presidents do this every time, and usually it's not a big deal. I mean, they do it all the time.
people thought Obama was, they were looking for Obama to pardon Kwame when he was coming
Right.
out.
They wanted him
They
to.
were
Obama
looking
was
for
like,
Obama to do that. I remember that.
I remember too. Yeah, they petitioned Obama, but and Obama pardoned some people that was controversial that people didn't agree with. So it's just, I mean, it's a power of the president. Generally they take it seriously and it's a very thoughtful. But please understand, it's always an agenda attached.
Oh yeah, I ain't even mad at it because if that's a point of personal privilege that I can take, I'm gonna look at my people and be like, "Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
get my bro out, free my bro over here, okay? Free my boy over here. If that's your boy, that's your girl, and you want them to get out, and you can get them out. But let's be clear: anybody that had that power, we all got family members and different people, friends that might have did something they ain't had no business doing. They was wrong. They went to jail. The first thing people put up: free so and so, free Ray Ray, free Uncle Nuck Nuck, free Auntie, whoever. If you had the power to do it, you and get them out of jail, you'd be like, all right, yeah, go ahead and let them out. So the part list, I'd be like, child, you ain't even that. You know what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
mean, in the grand scale of things that Trump did that pissed me off, that's so low on the scale for me. It really don't even make. I don't care. And maybe people. I don't. I don't care. I don't know who half these people are. I mean, like Zab, you said he pardoned Jenny Perot's husband Albert, who's a crook. Well, all them mofos are crooks.
Yeah, if he gonna pardon anybody, what happened to Joe Exotic? Because you listen,
I thought he was going to do it.
we all did. We want Joe Exotic out, but they didn't do that.
I could care less about Joe Exotic getting out. Joe Exotic ain't innocent. He a crook too.
Joe Exotic ain't do nothing, and that lady still around here walking around who killed her husband and had him eaten by one of the tigers.
Now
Let's
I
not.
believe. Now wait a minute. Now that's two different things. Is she guilty? Yes, but don't act like he ain't guilty.
She's still walking around here. Carol Baskin still walking around this piece after being a murderer.
Oh, you know what? On that note, let me get my ass off of here.
She's a murderer. Carol Baskins is a murderer. Let's be clear.
I don't disagree. Remember I told you I had listened to a whole podcast. They had a whole podcast on them before the Netflix series came out. So that's why when people were talking about the Netflix series, I was like, okay, like because
Yeah,
I already
yes.
knew the whole story. So I was like, okay.
Brandon, Silk and Diamond about to have their own show on Fox News. Please understand.
But they got
Fox News,
fired. They got fired from Fox News.
they'll be back.
They'll be back.
They'll be back.
They'll be back.
I mean, this Fox News, what are they gonna do now? You gonna have the dude with the horns with no shirt on be the next commentator? That was
Probably.
on the insurrection.
I tell you what. And I'll put money on this. I know nobody gonna take me up on this bet because all y'all gonna agree with what I'm getting ready to say. Out of all of those people that got arrested, all of them ain't going to jail. And if they do go to jail, they're gonna go to jail for a little bit of time. I promise you, at least one, probably more, but at least one of those mofos will have a show on Fox News.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, they already got that in the works. They already got it in the works. Please understand, please. It's already in the works because they're not too that far right to the Trump people, and they need that for their ratings. And if they can have at least one show, and it's probably going to be multiple, where you have people that were a part of that insurrection and whatnot, that's all they need.
Yeah.
To get those numbers again.
Oh yeah. You see, am I happy with the press secretary? I mean, I have no reason not to be so
it's
far.
the lady Saki or something like that. Saki,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I mean, I don't have a reason not to be yet.
I did not watch. I know she had a press conference. There was a press conference today. I did not watch. I'll be honest with you. I did not.
Yeah, I was on live. Like it was on while I was on live.
And so I'll
be honest with you. I don't have a reason. I don't have an opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen her yet, so I don't know. They'll just pay some hefty fines and be made societal pariah. I don't even think they're gonna be that much of a pariah in society as you'd like to think.
You see that little boy that shot those people in Kentucky this year is chilling. He out on bail. Now who the hell gets out on bail for double murder? Who gets bail for that?
Apparently, white people,
But but
white
but
people,
but Mookie Ray Ray and them, they just got into a
and
bar fight down to the club because one of them got mad and the other one was dancing with their ex-girlfriend and they've been in jail for 2 weeks. I'm just saying. I agree. I'm not saying that all of them are going to get off, but some of them are. Some of them are going to jail. I believe some of them are going to jail. Yeah, Kyle. I believe some of them are going to jail. Now, that's what I believe. Now, I ain't going to say all of them are going to jail, but some of them are going to jail because some of them are going to get charged with murder. They've already identified some people who were specifically a part of that Capitol officer being killed. And y'all know we could say a whole lot of things, but when it comes to an officer being killed, they give a damn about that. Now, they might not give a damn about us getting killed, but they care about the Capitol Police getting killed. So somebody going to jail. Now, I ain't saying that all them people going to jail. Now, that ain't what I'm saying. But somebody going to jail. But more than not, they, it's going to be a don't do that again kind of thing.
But I definitely, like I said, wanted to come on and let you all know what has gone down today. In case you did not know, there was some things that went down politically today. It wasn't just, oh, we just gonna take the oath of office and going on. No, things are happening already. And like I said, look, I think they said Friday is gonna be a day filled with a lot of economic.
Yeah. Nobody's on probation yet because nobody has had there's been no trial or plea bargain. The FBI still said they got other charges pending. A lot of the stuff was put on hold because they were waiting until after Trump was gone because they didn't want any pardons. So a lot of those charges, they're still going to charge people with sedition. They're still going to charge people with murder. Not all of them, but so no, nobody's on probation. Now some people are out on bail, but ain't nobody on probation yet.
And what you have to understand is there's still a lot of things that they're unpacking, like that video from the New Yorker that came out a couple of days ago, where you had them literally taking pictures of the folders in the senators' desks and things like that, where you have people that are stealing laptops and things like that. Like those are crimes against the security of the country. And so those tack on.
They tried to steal Nancy Pelosi's computer out her office. Like,
so yeah, I definitely.
Anyway, well, sir, thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed my time. I'm gonna retire so I can take care of some housekeeping on my end of the room. Of the house. But I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone in the chat. It's been great talking to you. I love these types of conversations. El Teddy and I could do this all night, but I will not because I'm going to get off of here now. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to steal it. Thank you for being present.
Vocal, present, and active. He's vocal, present.
I know, being vocal, present, and active. I love you and I love on you. Anyway, no, but I'm out, y'all. But thank you, El Teddy, for having me. It was a great conversation. And again, we will continue. This is one of the things in 2021 we will continue to do, because here's the reality. It was easy to talk politics when you were around people who were of like mind. Most of us agreed that Trump was a tard and a plight on this society. It'll be very interesting when we start getting into the fact that we do have a Democratic Congress and a Democratic president, and kind of having that debate when things aren't always as black and white as what they've been these last 4 years, at least for us. Okay. And with that, I'm out.
That is really big.
That is really big. Signing off.
Ladies and gentlemen. As is always, I love these political discussions that we have when we do the politics of it all videos. I told y'all we would have more of these. Y'all know, go for those people new to the chat, go back and look at all of the politics of it all videos on my channel. I need to make a playlist for it. But we really dig down deep into this stuff, and we'll be digging deeper um into the minutia of politics and stuff. It's been great. I hope you all enjoyed today. The pomp, the circumstance, the ceremony, the changing of the guard, and so forth. You know me, I pay attention to little things. I'm a band head, and I was listening to. I go live not daily, maybe every other day, something like that. I might go live tomorrow though. Zap, I'll probably go live tomorrow. Um, I was paying attention to the band, the presidential band, the band that plays for the president and stuff like that, and picking apart some of the musical things that they were and were not doing. Like I was like when they played Stars and Stripes Forever, I was like piccolos, y'all need to tighten that up. Anyway, little things like that I was paying attention to. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time, I probably will go live tomorrow, y'all. I'll try to get out another episode of the Bling Empire, maybe tonight or in the morning. But that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. I love y'all. I love on y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. I might tomorrow break down because they had another thing for the inauguration, which was a video with all of the HBCUs and their bands and stuff. Hold on, y'all. You outside? Okay. With they had all of the HBCU bands, and they were all, they did this whole thing for the inauguration and stuff. We might break that down tomorrow and stuff like that. Talk about that a little bit. But that's all I got for y'all. As y'all can see, I got people waiting for me outside. Anyway, until then, love y'all, love on y'all. Thank you all for everything that you do. Until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. We out here.